Elon Musk just cracked open a Pandora's box inside the US government, one that some people never wanted opened. His team of engineers at Doge just pulled off one of the most eye-opening audits in recent history, exposing USAID, an independent agency that was assumed to be administering civilian foreign aid and developmental assistance. But after Doge's audit, the public became aware that the organization was doing everything but its intended purpose with their hard-earned tax dollars. USAID displayed a wild misuse of taxpayer money, to say the least. A short list of the egregious misuse of funds can be found on whitehouse.gov, but to give some vivid context, $2 million of taxpayer money was used for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala, and millions were provided to EcoHealth Alliance, which was involved in research at the Wuhan lab. Yes, that same Wuhan lab that created, well, you know. But Elon's efforts have created wide divide and speculation on his true intentions. Is he a true patriot with the people's best interest at heart? Or is this one of the most genius backdoor power moves disguised in perceived altruism? On one hand, millions cheer Musk on, demanding he rip through every agency and expose corruption, fulfilling the very drain the swamp promise that President Donald Trump made in his first term. On the other, a growing outrage is brewing, with some accusing Musk as having a huge conflict of interest, with most of his companies doing direct business with the government. Many are questioning how an unelected billionaire gained more access than some of the highest-ranking officials in Washington, with a team of young engineers, some as young as 19 and one with the nickname Big Balls. How did the richest man on the planet suddenly get access over the United States government? But just when it seemed like Musk was unstoppable, having secured access to the Pentagon and the Department of Education, where he declared the latter finished, a federal judge stepped in and slammed the brakes. Musk's access to the Pentagon? Blocked. The reason? The federal judge cited a risk of irreparable harm. So the real question is, what did Musk find that was so dangerous that they had to stop him? The findings of Musk and his team caused widespread panic throughout Washington, and the Department of Education and the Pentagon were next on the list. And if there's one place in the government where money vanishes into thin air, it's the Department of Defense. Over $850 billion in spending each year. Mysterious contracts. Projects so classified that even some members of Congress don't know about them. And, let's not forget, trillions of dollars that have gone unaccounted for over the past 2 decades. For Musk, this was the holy grail. If he could pull back the curtain on Pentagon spending, we could possibly see the biggest financial scandal in American history. But that's where things got complicated. Just as Musk and his team were gearing up for a full audit, a lawsuit came from 19 Democratic attorney generals who argued that Musk and his Doge team had no legal authority to be in those systems. But why now? Why, after greenlighting his access, did the government suddenly slam the brakes? Some insiders believe Musk was getting too close to something explosive. Reports surfaced that, before the ruling, his team had already started uncovering massive discrepancies. Billions of dollars unaccounted for, contracts that led to shell companies with no clear ownership, and funding allocations that simply didn't make sense. In fact, a leaked internal memo suggested that Musk's team had identified a major contractor receiving billions in Pentagon funds, but with zero deliverables on record. And then, his access was shut off. The whispers started almost immediately. If Musk's team wasn't finding anything significant, why was there such a swift and forceful reaction? Some believed the Pentagon's black budgets were hiding more than just military expenditures. Over the years, multiple reports surfaced about trillions of dollars simply disappearing from Pentagon records, never to be accounted for. Were these funds supporting highly classified weapons programs, covert operations? Perhaps even something that neither Congress nor the American people were ever meant to see. Others believed Musk had stumbled upon a much bigger problem: private military contractors profiting off the endless war economy. The defense industry had long been accused of operating with unchecked power, receiving billions in funding without proper oversight. What if Musk had found evidence that certain companies were receiving massive sums of taxpayer money for projects that never even existed? If exposed, this could unravel decades of corruption, implicating not just military leaders but also politicians and corporate executives who had built their careers on war profits. Of course, there were those who argued that Musk wasn't blocked to hide corruption, but to protect national security itself. If his engineers had accessed top-secret intelligence, details on nuclear assets, or even live cyber warfare operations, the Pentagon may have had no choice but to shut him down. In the world of national defense, some information is too sensitive for even the most powerful civilian hands. Then, there was the possibility that Musk had simply challenged the wrong people. There had always been speculation about a deep state network, an unelected shadow government that operated beyond the reach of any administration. During his weekly Doge call on X, when asked, after his short experience with Doge, if he now believes that there is a shadow government, Elon responded, "Definitely." If Musk's Pentagon audit was threatening to expose this hidden power structure, it would explain why his access was revoked with such speed and force. Some officials suggested that his actions had put him on a collision course with the most powerful institutions in the country, ones that, unfortunately, the general public doesn't even know about. And they have no intentions of revealing themselves and letting Elon get any further. And yet, the biggest mystery remained. Had Musk already found something before the judge's ruling? Some reports hinted that his team had managed to retrieve key financial data before the doors were shut. If that were true, Musk might have everything he needed to expose what's been hidden for years. But what would he do with that information? Would he release it to the public, triggering an all-out war between himself and the government? Is that the irreparable harm? Or would he use it as leverage if, you believe, his true intentions are in malice? Musk's access may be blocked for now, but this fight is far from over. The ruling is temporary. Another hearing is set for February 14th, where the court will decide whether Doge can continue its mission or if Musk's Pentagon audit is officially dead. But the public skepticism will still remain. If you have nothing to hide, why block an audit? What is the true reason for Musk being blocked in the first place? Clearly, Doge's USAID investigation was groundbreaking, informative, transparent, and most importantly, has gained the trust of the American people. You would assume that, as a functioning democracy, we would want that for all of our governmental agencies. But that's assuming that we are a democracy, in theory. Musk, on the other hand, is suggesting that we are truly a bureaucracy, in practice. Of course, they are going to pull the national security risk card. However, the Treasury has acknowledged and publicly stated that Musk and his team had read-only access. Now, however, that access is too much for the Pentagon. If this is really about national security, then maybe there are secrets too dangerous for even Musk to see. But if this is about covering up waste and corruption, then what exactly is the Pentagon hiding? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what happens if Musk fights back? He's already calling on Congress to intervene. He's rallying his supporters. He's making noise, and that noise is getting louder. This isn't just another Washington scandal. This could change everything. One thing's for sure, this battle isn't over. And as long as Musk is involved, you can bet this story is just getting started.